You're listening to the Good Question Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Our goal is to make each of our guests exclaim, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. Because when that happens, it means you, the listener, may be inspired to learn more beyond the interview and to ask great questions yourself that lead to new insights. In this podcast, we cover historical and current anthropology, comparative religion, and history. Welcome, and let's get started.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Good Question Podcast. My guest today is Sofia Din. She's a board-certified family physician and author of Do We Really Need Botox? A Handbook of Anti-Aging Services. We're going to talk about these new GLP-1 agonists, like Ozempic and Mounjaro and tirzepatide and, things like that, which I think will be very interesting because a lot of people seem to be taking them and experiencing weight loss, some of them, some of them not. So welcome, Sofia. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for having me over.
Well, tell me a bit about your practice and your history first, and then we'll get into this. How long you've been practicing anti-aging, and what's your practice like today?
So I have been a doctor for as long as I can remember now. It's been decades. I was initially trained in my country of birth, which is Pakistan, which is like a very British system of education. So I did my bachelor's in medicine and bachelor's in surgery from Pakistan, and then I got married and came to United States, and over here I did a doctorate in medicine, and I'm board certified in family medicine. However, I also trained as a geriatrician. I was the medical director of a nursing home and nursing facility for over 7 years, and after that that's when I saw light and as I met the dark side of medicine, and I had a turnaround, and I said that I'm going to work for health, because medicine in the United States, I felt it was pretty much just sickness management without any hope of healing. So I went into integrative medicine and started, I was one of the early adopters of what is now being called anti-aging and longevity medicine, where we basically work to help you preserve your health and your wellness by helping you maintain your functionality across all ages. And the earlier you start, the better it is.
Yeah, in your practice, what are some of the therapeutic protocols? Do you do like stem cells or PRP, or what do you do?
So we have like a full body treatment protocol for people. So think of it as if your body was a vessel that holds your consciousness in through time and gravity and chemistry and hormonal imbalances. So we try to treat it as a whole, which is very different from how medicine is usually generally practiced in the United States, where if you go to a primary care, for instance, there is a possibility that if something is wrong, you'll just go to somebody else, and then somebody else would send you somewhere else. And every organ is so separate from the people who specialize in one organ don't deal with the other organ. Meanwhile, all those organs exist inside one human. So one of the things that I envisioned for my work was to create a holistic plan which includes the entire body, because when any one part of the body or organ suffers, everything else suffers too. So we do a lot of things that come together. For example, we do the intravenous infusions of antioxidants and nutrients for a lot of people. But we also manage weight for people who have gotten stuck in their journey. So just, so there are several treatments. So a lot of things that we help people with are things that people already know and they can do it easily at home by themselves. But then there are certain things that for tune-ups, you have to come back to the doctor. I tell people that if you're facing a sickness or some kind of a health dysfunction issue, you will realize that you might have to go to, like in a year, you might have to go to a doctor like once or twice in that year because you will fall sick. And generally people who are young and healthy don't fall sick. But if they do fall sick once or twice a year, they will go and meet with their doctor. However, that is something that is just like sickness management, where, if you get sick, then you go and see the doctor. However, for health and wellness, these visits can be a little more routine. It's like going to somebody who just like makes sure that your body is functioning well. Because the way we pursue and wait for sickness, we should basically be actively pursuing health and wellness instead. That's what, the philosophy of my practice is. So yeah, we do everything in between. So if one organ is suffering, for instance, if you have like your hair is suffering, for instance, and you're losing your hair, which a lot of guys do, because men, when they go through any kind of cortisol or hormonal disbalance, they lose hair very quickly. So if you're losing hair, and you're a guy, depending on your age, your treatment may be completely different than somebody who is, for instance, 60 and beginning to have prostate issues. So, it depends what you have. So we kind of manage in my practice pretty much the whole body, our body as a whole, human as a whole. That is the concept.
Right, I got you. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I wanted to talk to you about, these new GLP-1 inhibitors and GLP agonists. What are you seeing out there? Are patients just taking it, not even telling you? Are you prescribing it? Like what's the landscape look like?
So GLP-1, let me just introduce GLP. I don't know how much I mean, it's like all the rage right now. Just like, there are certain medications that just become in. They're just in. GLP-1 agonist is one of the, when we look back onto this century, one of the medications that will be in the forefront of impacting humans and being discovered to impact humans is going to be GLP-1s. And these are agonists. So your human body makes GLP-1 itself also. However, the GLP-1 that we create, sometimes that GLP, it's not enough. It has a very short half-life. So fortunately, this GLP-1 that we have finally, this is like a particle which is very close to the particle that the body makes itself also, but because it is an agonist means it's a friend, so it's friendly to this your body's naturally occurring GLP-1, and what it does is that it controls your craving. So all the food that people are that can have an addictive that can trigger the addictive pathways in your brain, that food will just become irrelevant for you. So it is a very good shield for addiction, but it has several layers of other advantages also. Initially, it was FDA approved for lowering basically a sugar neutralizer. It is a sugar, it just creates one of the best protective long-term shields for sugar management in a human. So people who are suffering from diabetes or who are just under the attack of the industrial food complex, which adds so much sugar into every single item of food that we're consuming and feeding our children, that something like this is going to be a very impactful resource for humans. And I am actually increasingly getting convinced that this is going to be very important medication to be added to people's regimens, not only the ones who have some of these problems, but just generally as a barrier from so that we can protect the body from falling sick. As you know, sugar is the cocaine of our times, and we have to protect our youth and our adults and especially our seniors. So when I was a geriatrician and working in my nursing home and rehabilitation facility, one thing that I found very heartbreaking was that people, there is no way to release your brain from the fog of dementia and movement disorders and the disability that follows that, and the lack of agency, how people suffer at the end of their life with this lack of agency. And I think that sugar is a very major source that creates that injury into our brain. So when we use these medications medications, I think prophylactically for longevity purposes, I think it's going to be like super beneficial. I know that a lot of studies are still underway, but as those studies are there, around the world, it's coming back, and the people are telling us that really favorable impact is being found. So I'm very hopeful that these medications, despite their multi-layered challenges, like they're expensive, the good ones especially are expensive, and then if somebody doesn't monitor how you're taking it, you can definitely get into some kind of trouble because you don't know where you're getting it. People are trying to get it from off the market because it's so expensive. So there will be challenges, but ultimately I think it is going to be like a very good drug, which should be taken by people under the care of somebody who should be managing it.
Well, okay. So how does it acts as an appetite suppressant, or particularly on sugar, you don't crave it, or what?
Well, the thing is that it is a medication which think of it as like it has like a lot of different kinds of benefits, and all the benefits get unlocked at a different dose. So for instance, if you are a food addict, you do not need to take your dose that will fix that problem is going to be different than somebody who's going to be using it for just diabetes management. So because it has different, and so for somebody who is just using it for longevity, for instance, or that person is going to be using it at a very, very extremely micro dose. So it is something that shields you and protects your system, but the dosage has to be adjusted throughout lifetime, and also dosage has to be managed. And I know that they are going to be trying to create GLP-1 agonists as an oral treatment, but orally the life of GLP is so low that it loses pretty much most of its benefit.
But again, what are all right? So low doses, it's supposed to help longevity. How, and then what are the benefits at more normal doses?
So as I'm trying to explain it, that think of it as a car that has an odometer which can go at what speed. So if you have different problems, so if you have like just diabetes, then the dose that will manage your diabetes, your problem, is going to be somewhat different for someone else who might have food addiction, for instance. Food addiction is a food addiction or alcohol addiction or any form of addiction, whether it is for money or sex or whatever else. That addiction is like, it's very person dependent, and we need to dial the dose up or down, just like you have like a speed in the car. Does it have to be a very high dose? Because I personally do not like people to go on super high doses, because when you go super high doses, it's like increasing the car's speed to a very, very high speed. So if you're traveling at 200 miles per hour, most likely you will end up with some kind of an accident and people fall off the wagon. So I tell people that the best way to do it is to do it under the guidance of someone who understands these medications, and then anybody who understands these or who has experience with this will definitely be able to guide you at what would be best place for everyone. So
what are the units of dose?
So every medication, so there are several kinds of GLP-1 agonists that are currently available in the market, and they all have different dosages. So it's like a unit of, so it's pretty much, have you heard of this medication called Botox?
Yeah, the units of Botox.
Yeah.
I know the unit is.
Yeah. So Botox, so I don't know if you know what Botox is. So Botox is one of the world's fastest anti-aging medication for skin. It reverses skin failure. Skin is also one of the largest organs of your body. And just like every other organ in your body, as you age, as you go through time and gravity and hormones and all the imbalances that you face in your system, your skin also ages through time, and it experiences chronic skin failure after you reach the pauses. So if you're a female, when you go through menopause, the chronic skin failure accelerates. If you're a male, you will face andropausal symptoms. Sometimes males face andropausal symptoms early in life, but their skin also fails. So Botox is one of the fastest acting anti-aging medications known to humans, and it basically reverses the age of your skin within a week, depending upon who is adjusting your anti-aging doses. So similarly, the GLP-1 agonists are one of the fastest acting it provides it's kind of like Botox. However, it is something that is acts like Botox for your fat cells. So it is something that we inject inside your fat cells, like it's a subcutaneous injection. And people become used to, giving it to themselves also, because can be easily be dispensed by humans using the Botox needles, which are very tiny insulin needles. So it acts like Botox for your fat cells. And what it does is that your fat cells stop get rid of, they stop hoarding the energy that they hoard when they are inflamed. So that's what I say, that it is the dosage is different. So if you're using a one kind of GLP-1, the dosage is different. So it depends on what you're gonna use.
Well, what's an example of
for example, if you have, like, for instance, if you're on Wegovy, the microdose of Wegovy from the market is like maybe 0.25. But if you are using semaglutide, for instance, and you're compounding it from a certified pharmacy, which is like the generic form of Wegovy, you can pretty much microdose at like 0.15, which is much less than the 0.25. And basically you're using it for longevity because it's a sugar neutralizer. And sugar is something that cooks your body from inside.
Is it a sugar neutralizer, or does it suppress appetite preferentially, or what is the mechanism of action?
So initially, it will suppress your appetite also, but basically it is a sugar treatment for sugar.
Well, if I eat I don't know, like a candy bar that I inject myself, what happens? What would normally happen, and what happens if I use the medication at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. So if you have an addiction for sugar, for instance, you'll probably be higher. So if you love food, most food addicts usually that food noise is just like it will cancel all the food noise. So food will not be an obstacle in your path anymore. That's what it does.
Oh, so I won't. It's more of like, normally at night, I'd love to eat a candy bar, let's say, but because I'm on this now, I just don't feel the need to have that candy bar tonight.
Exactly. So the thing is that, see, it will turn down the volume of the food noise. Whatever is your addiction, it will turn its volume down. So basically, see, rehabilitation and restoring your path to healing, it requires you to put the effort in also. It's not like this is just a medication. It's not going to stop you if you are just going to, however, it's going to make it easy for you by where you won't feel like it. Many times I feel that a lot of addicts just do things because they're just habituated. So it's just a habit that they're going to sit here and they're going to finish the whole Dorito. So basically, if that is a habit, you also have to cleanse your habit. You also have to cleanse your things. You have to take away the obstacles from your path and remove them. So this will make it easier for you to forget it. Forget the things that are causing that hurdle for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the? There's got to be like side effects and stuff. What are some of those?
It has, like everything. Everything has side effects. However, there are ways to mitigate those side effects. Some of the initial, like when you take these medications, initially they can cause a feeling as if you're a female, you will probably understand it well, because when I say this to women, they understand it, especially if they've gone through pregnancy. It causes like a morning sickness kind of feeling. When you look at food, you're like, oh my God, I have nausea. I can't even look at food anymore. So, but that feeling is gone very soon, and then you develop tolerance to it. But then, it has other side benefits of the impact that is like, if you use it regularly, you will start noticing it. It's like, when you start going to the gym for 2-3 months, you start realizing all the benefits. So similarly, this is something that, once you do it for a couple of months regularly, and while restoring all the other lifestyle things that you also have to restore continuously for yourself, like exercising and hydrating and trying to eat healthy and sleeping on time and meditating, everything. So and eating real food. So when you start doing all those other things also alongside this, it just dramatically improves the life of your health and health of your life.
Okay. How long have people been on it? Like, what are some of the longest term? How long should you be on it? And how long are some of the longest users on it so far?
Well, this is something that I believe that everybody should be on it forever, for as long as they can be. On a regular dose, not like on a super high, crazy dose or something, but like, routine. It's an anti-aging thing. I know people who are taking it just once a month also, just for, just to keep themselves in a certain way. However, there are people who have been on it for now 3-4 years and things look good.
So, I mean, there's got to be some, I had read that, who knows if it's translates to humans, but in mice, it had caused medullary thyroid cancer,
Yes.
cells.
Yes. So again, it is a medication. So if you are going to, basically you have to be monitored and you have to be cleared. So it is definitely not recommended to somebody who has had thyroid cancer.
Oh, what? Oh, so someone, like what if you had thyroid cancer and they took out you took out your thyroid? Well, we had to.
Yeah. So they're not going to recommend it. They're going to give you something else. However, a lot of these GLP-1 agonists have like this black box warning of developing cancer at varying doses, because they do change the way your body metabolizes energy. So it is.
So what do you think would happen?
And the thing is that there are several side effects to pretty much any medication that you take. However, there is a way to not undergo those side effects. So many of these side effects are triggered when you are not just using GLP-1 by themselves, but if you also consume a lot of alcohol. So for instance, people who are alcoholics, if they are on GLP-1 agonists, but they're crazily drinking on the other side, they're going to screw up the results. So I always tell people that please stop drinking alcohol when you decide to go on these medications. And then if you do drink alcohol, it has to be so little that, it shouldn't impact this medication, because these medications are cleared by your liver. And if you pour alcohol inside your body, it is such a toxic substance that your body starts having to clean up rather than process these medications. So these medications can have side effects which can be mitigated by appropriate direction and appropriate coaching. So doctors have to become coaches so that we can guide people how to use them safely. Listen, what is the side effect of driving a car? You can wreck it and you can kill yourself and others. However, does that mean that you're not going to drive a car? Of course you will drive the car, but just follow directions. Sit with somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't drive with like somebody who just got their license day before yesterday.
Got it.
Right?
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll wrap up now. So what's the best way for people to find your clinic, and where can you help people? Like the whole U.S. or just one state, or where?
So I have a license in New York and California, and my physical office is located in New York. And you can find me on Instagram. It's called Dr. Giovanni. My website is botoxguru.org. I tell people that I'm not your guru. I'm the guru of Botox. I tell Botox what to do for you. So again, it's botoxguru.org. And you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. We're kind of omnipresent. On YouTube, my channel is Dr. Giovanni. On TikTok also, it's called Dr. Giovanni. So Giovanni is the name of my the practice that I have, and Giovanni is the root word. It's a Persian word which means youth, and that's something that eternal youth. That's what we're all seeking, and that's the dream.
Okay, well, very good. Well, Sofia, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Richard, for having me.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
Thank you for listening to the Good Question Podcast. Please email support@thegoodquestionpodcast.com if you have any referrals to great guests for us to interview. Visit thegoodquestionpodcast.com to hear more interviews. And please help us spread the word by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast.